Rosie was a Caithness character. Born in the parish of Wick to William Rosie, a cooper, and his wife Margaret in January 1830, he had an older brother called Alexander, who was 2 years his senior. He was followed by David, Elizabeth, and George. He attended the local school where he received a rudimentary education, and by the time he was 21, he was working as a farm servant for George McCaddy, who ran a 200-acre farm at West Hill Head. As the years rolled on, he learned how to be a ploughman and remained at Hill Head for most of his life. He attended many markets and ploughing competitions, and it's through this that he became famous in the county. He was of medium height, but had a muscular build, thanks to the heavy work. Red-haired, he had a fiery temper, but only once is it recorded that he used violence. He had picked up a stone and threw it at whoever it was that had annoyed him so much, and howling could be heard from where he'd hit his target. Much is known about Rosie, as he was forever drawing attention to himself by claiming he was wealthy, owning many houses, and saying he owned a fleet of ships. He also spoke of emigrating to Australia by way of a horse and cart, but he was never seen with much more than a penny in his hand. On occasion he would march into a shipowner's office, demanding the crew be paid their month's wages with the penny he slapped down on the table. He also hinted that some of the ships were in need of repair, and offered his penny to make them seaworthy once more. With all this wealth, he thought of himself as quite a catch for any young lady he took a fancy to. He promised them a fine lifestyle in one of his houses, which was lined with marble, and promised them a luxurious mode of transport as befitting her new station. However, even if he had betrothed himself to several women over the course of the day, he was to remain a bachelor all his life. Every Saturday, Robbie could be seen in Wick collecting money. He would enter a premise where he would receive a penny which he told people was simply the rent he was owed by the proprietor. When approached about it, he was indignant, stating it was not charity, not for a man of his wealthy status. As he left, he would always turn to them and say he was happy for them to remain in the building for another week. Those who took pity on him invited him in for a cup of tea. He would instigate grace beforehand, reciting psalms, hymns, the Lord's Prayer, and very occasionally a line or two from songs. This only happened, though, if the company was worthy, of course. However, although brazen in the situations described, he wasn't a brave man. When he had to cross a field on the dark winter nights, he would make a noise, which he always claimed was singing, so that any noise he heard wouldn't frighten him. He believed that while he made some kind of noise, he would be safe. He didn't think about how he would deal with something if he saw it. One dark winter's night, he was asked to carry fish home to the farm at Hill Head from the town. On the way there, the ties that bound the parcel had become loose, so he had to stop to tighten them. The moon was out and caught the head of a fish, which sparkled in the light. Robbie's adrenaline pumped, and his imagination began to run wild. He opened up the package further and saw all the fish on fire, and in one sweeping movement, threw the parcel of fish as far into the field as he could. He ran as fast as his legs would carry him back to the farmhouse, where finally he felt safe. Needless to say, McCaddy was less than impressed by Robbie's actions that night. One of the quirkiest things about Robbie Rosie was the fact he would never accept a silver shilling. He believed that if he did, he would be drafted into the army, something which terrified him, as he hated the sight of blood, or worse, he would end up at the end of a bayonet. Many in Wick knew of his adversity to the shilling and would play tricks on him. Once, a bookseller in the town tried to impress some visitors by saying to Robbie to take the silver coin. He flatly refused and left the shop angrily. A few days later, he was sent into the town to buy a copy of the local newspaper, the Northern Ensign, but he resolutely determined not to ever visit the bookseller's shop again, so decided to go to Davy Gunn's grocery shop, and instead of buying the one newspaper he'd been asked to, he bought 2 copies of the People's Journal, believing they would both have different stories in them, and that would keep McCaddy happy. On another occasion, Robbie was asked to empty a neighbour's midden for 6pence. He refused, saying it was too little for the job he was being asked to do. In fact, it was because a 6pence was silver. The neighbour thought, then offered him 12 halfpennies, exactly the same amount as a silver 6pence. Robbie accepted and cleared the midden. Although sometimes a little slow on the uptake, Robbie knew when tricks were being played on him. One of the most famous incidents was when it was Peace Egg Week in the district. Robbie and a couple of his companions set off in search of eggs to eat on the Sunday, and as Robbie was well known, they managed to accumulate a lot of them. However, his friends wanted their fair share, to which Robbie agreed. After each stop, they recounted the eggs to make sure that no mistake was made. But as time went on, he realised he had less than the others, and knew he'd been tricked. He decided to let them have all the eggs. He stepped back and hurled eggs at his friends, covering them from head to foot. It all happened so quickly, the men were stunned, then ran off. Robbie followed in hot pursuit, still hurling the eggs at them. By the time he was done, no eggs remained, and the following day his friends couldn't go out as their clothes were being boiled to get the eggs off them. Sometimes Robbie felt disgruntled with his work at the farm and threatened to leave unless his wages were raised, or he was given a portion of the profits. Usually, McCaddy offered him an extra penny, which was generally enough to make him rethink and stay. However, once he took off in search of a new employer. McCaddy was wise to this, though, and spoke to another farmer, giving him half a crown to ask Robbie to work for him. Robbie met up with this farmer, and following a conversation, returned to Hill Head and informed McCaddy that he would be leaving the farm at the end of the season. "And what's the name of your master, Robbie?" asked McCaddy. Robbie thought, then realised he didn't in fact know the man's name. Then McCaddy asked him the name of the farm where he was going to work, but again Robbie had forgot to ask, but was determined to leave. He walked as far as Tongue, looking for the farm and farmer, but to no avail, and returned to McCaddy's farm. He informed him that he would be staying on for another year. Because of the length of time he stayed with McCaddy, he received half a crown for being the ploughman who had been longest at one single farm during a ploughing match. However, he told any ladies who asked him about the money that it was because he was the handsomest man at the match. To the men, he He said it was because he was the most valuable farm servant at it. Throughout his time at Hill Head, McCaddy made sure Robbie was kept in decent clothes and shoes, and on Sunday he would attend church in his Sunday best. He died in 1889, and his formidable presence in Wick has been handed down the generations, making him one of the Caithness characters. If you enjoyed this episode of Scotland's History, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.